Hi, I'm David Terrar and welcome to our live streamed news and interview show Cloud Industry Forum presents TWF! Courtesy of our friends at Disruptive Live. I'm the CEO of the Cloud Industry Forum, which is a not-for-profit membership driven trade body that champions and helps accelerate the adoption of cloud technology and services. We've got members like Lenovo and Acronis and Broadcom and Hewlett-Packard Enterprise and OVH Cloud and Escrow London. If you want to find out more about us, go to cloudindustryforum.org. TWF goes live on Mondays at 10 o'clock, and each week we have some technology stories that have sparked our interest, and then we interview a guest. Today it's someone from one of our members, Wolters Kluwer, talking about their approach to customer service and using it as a competitive advantage, but we'll get to that later. We're on the lookout for speakers to come and contribute to this show, so if you're doing something that supports or is supported by secure and trusted cloud technology, then we'd like to hear from you. You can connect with us in the comments here on LinkedIn, or you can email us at info@cloudindustryforum.org. I'm at DT on X, I'm David_Terrar on Threads, or Google me and you'll find me. One of the stories of the week has actually been the Competition and Markets Authority's investigation of the cloud marketplace here in the UK. But not going to talk about that today. I'll comment about that elsewhere. The things that caught my imagination were actually a connected set of items mentioning artificial general intelligence. A Reuters story popped into my feed about Softbank's CEO, Masayoshi Son, who said he believes artificial general intelligence, that's the artificial intelligence that surpasses human intelligence in almost all areas, will be realised within 10 years. Now, obviously, that's on the back of the amazing progress that generative AI has and large language models have made over this year. And he kind of referenced the fact that, now those AIs, with their self-learning and self-training and self-inferencing, just like us humans. He even claimed that artificial superintelligence, where human intelligence will be surpassed by a factor of 10,000, would happen within 20 years. I'm hearing HAL 9000 in my head saying, I'm sorry, Dave, I'm afraid I can't do that. The next thing that hit me was something that was shared by Steph McLeod of Kaizo PR, our newest director of the Cloud Industry Forum, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago. She shared something by Nicholas Thompson, the CEO of The Atlantic, suggesting that he's seeing a shakeout in the AI industry. Companies that appear to have deep AI products are actually being exposed as actually just having a good UX design above calls to the same LLMs that anyone can use. He suggested companies like that, who are merely a wrapper without a moat against competitors, as he called it, would be the ones that go up but then down in the next 6 months. Because if everyone's using a ChatGPT 4 call, that's becoming mainstream rather than anything innovative. Although I must say that I've seen some really great use cases recently. Products creating instant great summaries of very long texts, or another one where an LLM to give a kind of an interactive FAQ in front of a huge collection of documents explaining a framework. I actually think with LLMs and with the advances in natural language processing, we may only be a year away from conversations with our Siri and Alexa and Google Home devices beginning to feel a lot like that conversation with HAL 9000, rather than the frustrating answers we sometimes get today. Those two things led me to kind of Google more about the AGI topic, and I found the founder and CEO of Future AI, a guy called Charles Simon, and he did a keynote at last year's AGI 2022 conference. And I listened to a fascinating discussion around creativity and image recognition, and then the scale and size of the programming challenge of the first ever programmable device, the Jacquard Loom, to the development of programming on computers, to the scale of a program in a strand of DNA, to the possibilities of trying to program the human brain with its 100 billion or so neurons. Go check it out. That's Charles Simon. But his overall analysis on the AGI topic is that the emergence of AGI will be gradual. It will be applauded at every step of the way, and it may even be may not even be noticed when we actually get there. He thinks it's inevitable, and it will be sooner than you think. Sooner than Son's 10 years? I reckon so. And so to today's guest. I am delighted to be introducing Cécile Rénier from one of our Cloud Industry Forum members, Wolters Kluwer. We're going to be talking about the customer service topic and hearing about Cécile's approach to it. So first, welcome, Cécile. Please introduce yourself and your company.
Well, hi, David. It's a pleasure for me to be with you today. Thank you very much for the invitation. So Wolters Kluwer is actually a solution provider. It's originally a Dutch company, but we are present all over the globe, North America, Europe, Asia Pacific. And it's a company that has gone a very interesting transformation. It was founded 200 years ago as a printing company, and today is a leader in the software and service industry. So really nice trajectory and transformation story there.
Fascinating. Excellent stuff. Well, look, before we get into the topic, tell me a bit about your background and how you came to be responsible for customer support.
Well, funnily enough, my background was not around customer support at all. I started in banking and then in finance. And at some point in my personal life, looking for a change, I really wanted to be able to find a spot where I could have the vision of the forest and more specifically, really focusing on the outside-in story, on what really matters for the customer, and putting the customer at the center. I ended up in customer support because at the end, from customer support, you really connect the dots of all the company. And I find it fascinating. Personally, I love my job and what we do for the customer and for the company growth from customer support.
Excellent. Great stuff. Now, I suggest that since the advent of social media, the way people research products and buy them has changed. And so our attitude to good service and how we engage with brands has changed too. Do you agree with that? And
absolutely.
I'd suggest that customer experience is maybe more important than ever.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I think that so Wolters Kluwer is a B2B business, okay, and the reality is that the line between our professional lives and our personal lives have gone completely blurred, and people have the same expectations. So you want to have the same quality of interactions. Independently of you being on your personal sphere or your professional one. So business-to-business companies have really had to evolve to make sure that we were addressing that expectation. And a lot of it coming, of course, of the influence of social media. And we have to think that the first way people get to know you is through social media or word of mouth. So indeed, it has changed the whole framework.
Excellent. Now, my guess is that you see giving good customer service gives you a competitive advantage. Is that right?
Well, if we connect what we've just said to answering your question now, in a business-to-business, you can think of customer support as two ways, either as a commodity, so you need to provide support because of the nature of your business, or as a competitive advantage. And I think that thinking of it as a commodity is really not addressing our customer needs. And as I mentioned earlier, putting the customer at the center, it's all about addressing those customers' expectations. So I truly believe that customer support can really become that competitive advantage. Of course, the first driver is the product or the service that you acquire, But in case you find similar services or similar products, what can really make the difference is the support that you get behind the services, the relationship, and all of that.
Excellent. Now, to deliver that, how would you kind of describe the change in mindset that's needed to give you that?
Well, the first change really is that you need to be customer-centric. So you need to start listening more than you speak. It's really about understanding who you are addressing to, what are the needs that you are covering, and what are the expectations. So it's really about listening and understanding and getting to know your customer. That will be the one pillar of that mindset. And the second one is understanding that because we are in a continuously evolving environment, you need to change and you need to adapt. And however we do it today might not be the way we will do it tomorrow. And that is fine. And there is good learnings about the past of the things that we have to keep, but definitely the evolution today is taking place every day. The speed of transformation is really incredible, and because of that blurred lines between personal life and professional one, and the evolution of the expectations of the customer, we need to jump onto that evolution train and know that things will be different tomorrow. Those, for me, are the two main things in the mindset that people need to acquire.
And you talked there about the kind of change and adaptability and transformation, and the digital transformation that everyone's talking about. How does that sort of change, translate into the way you need to change the way you deliver support and actually have contact with the customers?
So basically it's all around technology, and that's something that we cannot ignore. But we need to be conscious as well, so that the ones that drive the technology and drive the transformation are the people. So it is about those two aspects. Technology allows us to deliver today a much more personalized and customized experience for the customers, and that, I think, is the ultimate goal. We can call it self-service, we can call it a digital transformation, we can give different names, but ultimately is that you feel that the person you're talking to or the machine you're talking to knows you, knows who you are, and can really help you in that better experience. So technology is really the foundation. But the second foundation is the people. And of course, we will have the first layer as a technology. The technology then will enable other things to happen. But ultimately, it's all about people. And how do we get that people on the train and help them on board that train, and between the two really walk that transformation journey.
Okay. Now, you mentioned personalization and you mentioned self-service there. Are there any other kind of ingredients that you focus on in terms of making better customer engagement?
Actually, I think it's all about that. It's all about accepting that a one-size-fits-all doesn't work any longer, because you will never see two similar human beings. We are all different, and we love being different, I think. We love thinking that people see us differently as well, and understand that we have different needs and different expectations. So for me, it's all about how do you facilitate that individualism into a framework of a company. So it's all about customization and self-service. I want to be able to to search whenever I have time for it, or wherever I am. So it's about my timings, it's about my tools, it's about my way of doing things, and that's what we have to provide. And probably in the past, thinking that way would have required a huge level of different approaches, different channels, and probably would have not been acceptable from a level of return on investment or the level of required resources. But today, it's not like that. The technology allows us to really get into that customization, to allow each individual to do it the way they want, in a scalable way for the company, in a way that we allow as well our employees to deliver a quality service, not going crazy with all the different approaches.
Okay. So listening to all of that, how does the organisation need to kind of change and adapt to support that?
Well, so as I said, probably evolution is the only constant that we know that we have today. So the organization needs to, one, understand that there is a constant adaptation and things will not remain still for a long time. This is our environment. This is how it happens today. So as a company, you need to make sure that you support your employees changing and adapting to that. You need to onboard them and make sure they get the right trainings. You listen to them as well to understand what are the blockers, what is working well, how we do it. But again, I guess it's on both sides, from the company sides and the organization side, is understanding that fluidity and how you need to be very agile and things need to be changing very quickly. So, no, supporting every individual, but there is initially a first step that has to be taken by each individual. Are you willing to change or not? And I don't think there is a right or wrong answer. It is a personal answer based on our individual situations. So if the individual answers to that question, no, I'm not willing to change, it's all good. But then you need to be consequent with that answer. Now, on the contrary, if the answer is yes, I'm willing to change, then the company needs to be there to support that change. So I guess that's again around the mindset, but it is very important because, as I have often read, organizations do not transform. It's people that transform organizations, and I couldn't agree more. So the first thing is about that, accepting the transformation and helping each other to actually walk that journey. And then the second thing that impacts the organization in that evolution is becoming extremely data-driven. Because there is the technology, we are able to gather a lot of that data that will help us, both the customer and the service provider, to really meet into that point where we know we're having a delightful experience on both sides. So becoming data driven is extremely important to know that you are really focusing and addressing what matters most for both the customer and the employee.
Okay. That all sounds great. Tell me, where do you think the customer experience actually starts?
Where does it start? Well, that's a tricky one, but It starts by knowing your customer, knowing who you are delivering the product or the service to. So it's all, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's all very good to think that you can build a fantastic machine. If that machine doesn't deliver any solution to an end user, then what is the mean of that machine, service, whatever? Okay, so I guess the customer experience really starts by addressing a need, providing a solution. So you need to be very close to your end user, to your end customer, understand that end customer. I think that's the beginning of when you define the product or the solution that you're building, and when you define the support that you will deliver. You need to understand, again, what is it that you are providing a solution for? What is it that the customer is expecting?
Excellent. Now, in those last 3 or 4 answers, you've talked about a different approach to empowering your employees delivering the service, and different approach to engagement and being data driven and all those kinds of things. Do you think that adds up to the organisation needing a different approach to leadership?
Well, absolutely, and I think we see it. We've been seeing it in the market for quite some years now. Those leaders that are recognized are being influential today have nothing to do with the leaders of the past, and probably the leaders of the past were brilliant enough, and that if they were leaders today, they will behave as the new leaders, because it's definitely not a criticism on the past. I think every period needs a different approach. But yes, today you need a leadership that is a lot around listening. Again, you need to listen, you need to understand, and you need to help everyone in a very collaborative way to bring the solution, to bring that vision, and to make it happen. So you're really an enabler. You're not any longer somebody that dictates the direction. It's much more about taking all the different building blocks and in a collaborative way making those building blocks look like something nice at the end of the day. And of course, removing the blockers that you can find in the way, understanding that, and supporting your team. It's about making others grow as much as making a business grow.
Excellent. So we're running out of time, I'm afraid. So finally, do you have any kind of key messages that you'd like the audience to keep in mind, take away from this?
Well, probably for me, what has worked in my career and my experience is really to focus on what matters most. We can get into many directions too often, so we need to always keep in mind what matters most. If you answer that question, what matters most, and you build the work, the support that you deliver around that, then I'm pretty sure that you'll be successful.
Cécile, that's actually been awesome. Thanks for giving us that explanation of how it all works at Wolters Kluwer. Really fascinated by all of that. So really, thank you, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you very much, David, for having me today.
Well, I think you'll agree with me that Cécile Rénier was fantastic there and gave us some really fantastic insights on customer support. I'm hoping you come again next week, 10 o'clock on Mondays. We'll be live talking about these kinds of things. If you want to find out more, send an email to me at info@cloudindustryforum.org or come to the website. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks very much.